Some cameras don't just shoot video or take photos. They become a part of your journey. They're there when you press record for the first time, when you capture your first paid client shoot, or when your passion for visuals turns into something more. Over the last decade, mirrorless cameras have transformed the world of content creation. But now, in 2025, the technology has evolved. Newer systems are faster, smarter, more powerful. Artificial intelligence, stacked sensors, and hybrid innovations are setting the pace. And quietly, without much noise, some of the most iconic mirrorless cameras are stepping away. Discontinued, replaced, or simply left behind. Today, we take a moment to pause, to honor the cameras that shaped a generation of creators. This is not just a countdown, it's a tribute. These are the top 10 end-of-the-era mirrorless cameras of 2025. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into the camera world, and share it with fellow creators who've walked this journey with you. In 2018, a quiet revolution began, one that would reshape the creative landscape for years to come. The Sony A7 III didn't arrive with loud fanfare. It didn't need to. Its impact was felt the moment creators got it in their hands. This wasn't just another full-frame camera. It was the beginning of a movement, a promise that professional-grade imaging was no longer reserved for the few, but open to anyone with a vision. For countless wedding filmmakers, solo shooters, indie storytellers, and YouTubers building their first audience, the A7 III became more than just gear. It was a reliable companion, a tool that translated imagination into reality. With unmatched low-light performance, rich 4K video, and autofocus that locked on with unmatched speed, it wasn't just powerful, it was liberating. It gave creators the confidence to shoot anywhere, under any lighting condition, and still deliver results that felt cinematic. Its balance of performance, price, and portability rewrote the rulebook, turning the full-frame dream into an everyday reality. But as every chapter must eventually close, the time has come for the A7 III to take a final bow. In 2025, the world of imaging has evolved. The A7V and the cameras that followed now lead the charge, bringing with them AI-assisted subject recognition, faster processing, sharper detail, and a level of intelligence that pushes creativity even further. These are the tools of the next generation, engineered for today's fast-paced content world. And yet, no successor can truly replace what the A7 III represented. It was the first full-frame camera for so many, a device that turned side hustles into careers, weekend shooters into professionals, and curiosity into mastery. As it officially retires from Sony's production lines, its legacy remains etched in the stories it helped tell. Because for those who held it, shot with it, and trusted it, this was never just a camera. It was a turning point, a milestone, a moment when everything changed. The Canon EOS R wasn't just another camera launch. It was a pivotal moment in Canon's storied history. It marked the company's bold and ambitious leap into the mirrorless full-frame arena, a space long dominated by early adopters like Sony. With the EOS R, Canon unveiled the revolutionary RF mount, a new lens system that would eventually redefine optical performance and open doors to sharper, faster, and more innovative glass. It brought with it Canon's renowned color science, rich skin tones, beautiful contrast, and a rendering style that filmmakers and photographers had long trusted, all now in a mirrorless body. Was it perfect? No. It faced its share of criticism. A single card slot raised eyebrows among professionals. The cropped 4K video left many hybrid shooters wanting more. But what it offered, superb image quality, intuitive ergonomics, and a bold new foundation, was enough to ignite momentum. For many creators, it was their first step into the world of mirrorless shooting with Canon. It was the body that introduced them to focus peaking, silent shooting, and the promise of electronic viewfinders without giving up Canon's tactile, user-first design philosophy. Over time, Canon listened, refined, and evolved. The EOS R became the launching pad for a new era. Cameras like the EOS R5 brought blistering 8K video and unmatched autofocus. The R6 II delivered exceptional versatility for hybrid creators, and the compact, Powerful R8 lowered the barrier to entry for those chasing full-frame dreams. Each of these modern RF bodies builds upon the risk that Canon first took with the original EOS R. Now, in 2025, that original body officially retires. It steps off the stage, not with regret, but with legacy. It was a flawed but fearless pioneer, one that dared to challenge the old and carve a new path forward. Without it, the mirrorless EOS lineup would not exist in its current form. And that matters, because while specs evolve and technologies shift, it's the first step, the brave, uncertain one, that defines the road ahead. The Canon EOS R took that step, and the entire Canon ecosystem is stronger for it. For filmmakers who couldn't afford full-frame systems, the Fujifilm X T3 was more than just an alternative. It was a dream realized. It brought professional video features to the APS-C world in a way that felt purposeful, not compromised. With internal 10-bit 4:2:0 recording, 4K at 60 frames per second, and Fujifilm's signature film simulations baked right into its DNA, it offered creators a toolkit that punched far above its weight. Its weather-sealed body, crisp EVF, and fast autofocus made it a rugged companion for shoots in the field, on set, or in the streets. But beyond the specs, the X T3 gave users something intangible, a tactile, hands-on shooting experience. With its dedicated manual dials, responsive controls, and unmistakable Fuji charm, every interaction with the camera felt intentional. It wasn't just about image quality, it was about connection. You didn't just press buttons, you engaged with the process. Whether capturing cinematic sequences or stills soaked in emotion, the X T3 made creators feel in control and inspired. Today, as the industry advances, the Fujifilm X T5 has stepped into the spotlight. It brings a higher resolution sensor, in-body image stabilization, and refined ergonomics that modern shooters demand. It's faster, more capable, and undeniably a step forward. And with that evolution, the X T3 quietly begins its exit from a market. But it leaves behind more than a spec sheet. It leaves behind a legacy. For countless hybrid shooters, the X T3 was the first camera that genuinely felt like both a filmmaker's and a photographer's tool. It balanced function and soul, precision and personality. And though newer models now carry the torch, the X T3 will always be remembered as the camera that brought cinematic storytelling to a new generation of creators, in a compact, beautifully crafted form that never compromised on character. Nikon entered the mirrorless war with quiet determination, and the Z6 was its opening move. As Nikon's first full-frame mirrorless camera featuring in-body image stabilization and the all-new Z mount, it wasn't just a product. It was a declaration of intent. It marked the beginning of a new era for a company rooted in decades of DSLR tradition. The Z6 brought with it the unmistakable Nikon color science that photographers had long trusted, packaged in a modern, mirrorless design that felt familiar yet refreshingly new. Its comfortable ergonomics, thoughtful layout, and solid video capabilities gave creators a dependable hybrid tool in a rapidly evolving space. Yes, it lived in the shadow of Sony's meteoric mirrorless rise. It didn't dominate headlines or win every comparison chart, but the Z6 quietly held its ground. It was a camera that didn't scream for attention, it simply delivered. For many Nikon loyalists, it was the bridge between the past and the future. It allowed them to step into the mirrorless world without sacrificing the essence of what made them fall in love with Nikon to begin with. Now, in 2025, the Z6 III is rewriting that narrative. With a stacked sensor, lightning-fast readout speeds, and 6K raw internal recording, it signals a confident, aggressive new phase for Nikon. The Z6 III isn't just an upgrade, it's a reinvention. It reflects a brand that has learned, adapted, and is now ready to lead. And with that, the original Z6 begins its graceful exit from the stage. Its retirement isn't the end of a product. It's the close of Nikon's mirrorless learning phase. The Z6 laid the foundation, bore the weight of early criticism, and proved that Nikon could adapt without losing its soul. It wasn't perfect, but it was pivotal. The Z6 made space for growth, for experimentation, and most importantly, for Nikon's return to form. As we look forward to what the Z6 III and future Z-series models will bring, we also pause to honor what started it all. The original Z6 was more than a first attempt. It was the first step in a comeback story still being written. You couldn't talk about mirrorless video in the late 2010s without mentioning the Panasonic GH5. It wasn't just part of the conversation, it led it. The GH5 became a defining tool for YouTubers, indie filmmakers, documentarians, and educators across the world. In an age where full frame was still out of reach for many creators, the GH5 offered something revolutionary. 10-bit internal recording, dual SD card slots, unlimited recording times, and professional-grade features in a compact, micro 4/3 body. It wasn't just a camera. It was a production powerhouse, capable of delivering cinematic results on a modest budget. For years, the GH5 ruled the scene. Its combination of reliability, durability, and image quality made it a go-to solution for creators who needed to trust their gear in any shooting condition. Run and gun, studio, handheld, gimbal, a documentary fieldwork. It was a workhorse that didn't flinch. With its rugged, weather-sealed body, high bitrate codecs, and advanced video assist tools, it offered filmmakers a rare blend of freedom and flexibility that was practically unheard of at its price point. But time moves forward. As technology evolved, full-frame options became smaller, more affordable, and increasingly powerful. Cameras like the Panasonic GH6 and the full-frame S5 and S5iX series pushed the boundaries even further, bringing higher dynamic range, better low-light performance, phase-detect autofocus, and hybrid workflows tailored for today's demanding creators. With these newer tools on the rise, the GH5 now takes its final bow. Its departure marks more than just the end of a product cycle. It signifies the closing of a remarkable chapter in mirrorless video history. The GH5 was the flag bearer of micro 4/3 dominance in the world of video creation. It proved that sensor size wasn't the limit, vision, intent, and innovation mattered more. And though the GH5 is stepping aside, its impact remains. For thousands of filmmakers, it was the first real taste of cinematic freedom. A camera that empowered storytelling, taught a generation the language of visuals, and proved that creativity doesn't have to be limited by gear. Its legacy is not just in the specs, but in the stories it helped bring to life. For hobbyists, travel creators, and everyday storytellers, the Olympus EM10 IV was more than just a tool. It was pure joy in the palm of your hand. Compact, lightweight, and beautifully crafted with Olympus's iconic design DNA, it was the kind of camera that invited you to take it everywhere. And it didn't just look good, it delivered. With industry-leading in-body image stabilization, fast autofocus, and stunning JPEG output straight out of the camera, the EM10 IV offered far more than its size or price point might suggest. It made photography feel accessible, spontaneous, and above all, fun. Whether capturing bustling street scenes, quiet landscapes, or family adventures, this camera excelled at slipping into a bag, or even a pocket, and being ready at a moment's notice. It was built for life on the move, a reliable companion for those who saw the world not just as it is, but as it could be captured. And for beginners entering the mirrorless world, the EM10 IV was a trusted starting point, an intuitive, inspiring introduction to creative control. But behind the scenes, change was coming. After Olympus made the difficult decision to sell its imaging division, the transition to OM digital solutions began. And with it came a shift in philosophy, a renewed focus on high performance, rugged cameras like the OM1 and OM5, tailored to professionals and adventure photographers. Quietly, the EM10 line began to disappear from shelves. No press release, no fanfare, just a slow, respectful exit. The EM10 IV now stands as the final chapter of Olympus-branded mirrorless cameras. It represents the closing of an era, a name that once stood tall in photography circles, known for its innovation, its legacy, and its unique approach to design and usability. For longtime fans, the Olympus logo meant something deeply personal. The EM10 IV wasn't just a camera, it was a farewell. A swan song for a brand that helped shape the digital photography landscape and brought beauty, balance, and elegance to mirrorless design. Its legacy will live on, not just in the images it created, but in the hearts of those who chose Olympus and never looked back. The Sigma FP was unlike anything else on the market when it debuted. It was a full-frame mirrorless camera stripped down to its purest form, small enough to fit in the palm of your hand, yet powerful enough to serve as the beating heart of a full-scale cinema rig. It was radical in both design and philosophy. With no mechanical shutter, an emphasis on raw video output, and a stripped-back body with modular intent, the FP wasn't trying to imitate what came before, it was trying to redefine what a camera could be. For adventurous filmmakers and boundary-pushing creators, the Sigma FP wasn't just another body. It was an invitation to experiment, to customize, and to create on their own terms. In a world where most cameras chase trends, the FP went the other way. It ignored autofocus battles and megapixel races. Instead, it carved a niche of its own, targeting visual storytellers who valued flexibility, image purity, and minimalist design. Whether mounted on a gimbal, caged for cinema use, or paired with high-end lenses via L-mount versatility, the FP became a quiet revolution in the hands of those who understood its potential. It wasn't for everyone, and that was the point. Now, as the FPL continues to evolve the concept with higher resolution, and the FPL Mark II looms on the horizon, promising even more refinements, the original Sigma FP begins its exit from the stage. It's being retired, not because it failed, but because it fulfilled its purpose, to challenge the status quo and to lead a conversation about what full-frame mirrorless can be beyond the conventional molds. The FP was never mainstream, but it was unmistakably bold. It was a camera that asked questions instead of giving easy answers. A camera that believed in the power of choice, modularity, and raw expression. In many ways, it was ahead of its time, a piece of gear that blurred the lines between cinema and photography, between tool and concept. As it bows out, the Sigma FP leaves behind a legacy of creative freedom. It inspired a new kind of camera thinking. And for those who understood its language, it wasn't just innovative, it was liberating. For vloggers, beginner filmmakers, and new content creators stepping into the world of visual storytelling, the Sony ZV10 was nothing short of a revelation. It brought mirrorless video power into an affordable, creator-first package that felt tailor-made for the YouTube generation. With its fully articulating flip screen, fast and reliable eye autofocus, impressive image quality, clean audio support, and intuitive interface, all for under $800, it didn't just lower the barrier to entry. It tore it down. The ZV10 became the first camera for millions around the world. It wasn't about specs alone, it was about access. It was about turning an idea into a channel, a hobby into a side hustle, and a passion into a profession. From daily vlogs and product reviews to travel films and tutorials, the ZV10 made it easy for anyone to create content that looked professional without needing to master complicated settings or invest in expensive gear. Its lightweight form factor and E-mount versatility meant creators could build their setup gradually, exploring their voice while growing their audience. It was the launchpad for countless YouTube journeys, often serving as the first real piece of gear that made people say, I can actually do this. But in 2025, the next chapter begins. The Sony ZV10 II arrives with major upgrades: enhanced AI subject tracking, reduced rolling shutter, improved color science, and smarter processing. It's a clear evolution, built for a more demanding and more sophisticated generation of content creators. As a result, the original ZV10 now begins to step aside, its time in the spotlight gracefully coming to a close. Yet, even as it's replaced, it will never be forgotten. The ZV10 democratized high-quality content creation. It empowered a wave of creators across the globe to tell stories, build communities, and chase creative freedom without the intimidation of pro-level gear. It was a tool that brought confidence to the uncertain, clarity to the beginner, and joy to the process. For everything it enabled and everyone it uplifted, the Sony ZV-10 earns its place on this list. It may no longer be the future, but it helped create one, and for that, it will always be remembered. The Canon EOS M6 Mark II wasn't just the best camera in Canon's M series lineup, it was its final act. Fast, compact, and surprisingly powerful, it packed a 32.5 MP APS-C sensor, dual-pixel autofocus, and uncropped 4K video into a body small enough to fit in a jacket pocket. For travel shooters, vloggers, and hybrid creators, it offered a lightweight alternative to bulkier DSLRs and full-frame bodies, without feeling like a compromise. The M6 Mark II had the potential to grow into something greater. It hinted at a future where Canon's mirrorless philosophy might be split between the compact M mount and the larger, pro-focused RF mount. But that future never came. Canon made a decisive pivot. As the RF system evolved and quickly became the company's flagship mount, the M series was left without a path forward. No new M lenses were announced. No new bodies followed. And by 2025, the writing is on the wall. The Canon EOS M6 Mark II is officially discontinued, and the M mount itself is quietly, but unmistakably dead. For photographers who believed in Canon's early mirrorless promise, the news lands like a slow, bittersweet farewell. It's a strange kind of goodbye, one filled with admiration for what the M6 Mark II achieved, but also a lingering sense of what could have been. It was a camera that combined speed and resolution in a sleek package, a body that showed flashes of brilliance in a system that never quite got the support it deserved. Today, Canon's focus is entirely on the RF mount, and with good reason. It's a system that supports innovation, lens versatility, and pro-level performance. But as the last M-series camera fades from store shelves, the EOS M6 Mark II takes its place in history as the final ambassador of a dream that never fully matured. It wasn't a failure. It was a quiet success in a system that was never given the room to grow. For the photographers and creators who saw its potential, the M6 Mark II will always represent the final, flickering moment of Canon's first mirrorless experiment. Compact, capable, and now complete. Among luxury compact cameras, the Leica CL quietly carved out its own identity, a blend of precision engineering and emotional design. With its sleek, minimalist body and tactile manual controls, it spoke to photographers who valued the essence of the craft: simplicity, connection, and intention. The CL wasn't just about specs. It was about the feel of the shutter, the elegance of the design, and the unmistakable Leica color rendering that turned everyday scenes into visual poetry. For street photographers, purists, and lifelong Leica enthusiasts, it was a dream. Compact enough to go unnoticed, powerful enough to deliver images with character, and refined enough to make the shooting process itself a joy. Yet in a market increasingly driven by full-frame performance and commercial viability, the Leica CL was always destined to be niche. It lacked the broad appeal and headline-grabbing features of the Q or SL lines, which now anchor Leica's modern mirrorless strategy. And as Leica shifts its focus toward full-frame luxury and medium-format innovation, the APS-C CL quietly slips into history. No bold farewell, no dramatic announcement, just a soft retreat from a space Leica once dared to redefine. It may not have achieved the commercial success of its siblings, but the CL had something far rarer: soul. It embodied a photographic philosophy that cherished restraint over redundancy, feel over flash, and purity over performance charts. It reminded photographers that sometimes the camera shouldn't be the center of attention. It should disappear, letting you fall deeper into the moment. Now, with its discontinuation, Leica's vision for compact, mirrorless APS-C comes to a close. The CL's departure marks more than the end of a product. It signals the end of a unique chapter in Leica's history, one that celebrated minimalist expression in a world racing toward complexity. For those who held it, the Leica CL will never be just another camera. It was a partner in observation, a quiet companion in creativity, and a symbol of Leica's ability to build not just machines, but experiences. Its legacy endures in the hearts of those who found magic in its subtlety. These cameras weren't just products. They were partners in creation, milestones in careers, and tools that turned ideas into reality. As we say goodbye to them in 2025, we honor more than just hardware. We honor the memories, the learning curves, the breakthroughs they gave us. The mirrorless world is evolving, but these cameras helped build the foundation. And even as newer, smarter models take the stage, the legacy of these 10 legends will live on. In our footage, our archives, and our stories. Farewell, legends. Your time may be ending, but your impact never will.